First and foremost, I want to say all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone to rule well. And much love and salutation to you brothers that's pushing the truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. Alright, I want to get into this quick little video. Hopefully it's going to be quick, but definitely edifying. There's going to be some brothers, new brothers coming into the truth, And, this lesson is about, one body, different members. You're not going to all have the same task. You're not going to all be on the same level. You're not going to everybody's not gonna look the same, like what we're gonna be getting into. You got one body, it's got different body parts. You got you got a hand, you got fingers, you got fingernails, you got you got feet. Your feet doesn't do the same job your heart does. Your nose doesn't do the same job your ears does, but they all equally important. They all function as a whole to operate one body, in unison. So this don't for you brothers coming in, you might not be as proficient, or as how do I say, you might not look at yourself and comparable to some of the men that's already in this, but you got to understand, the Most High chose them for a certain lot to do a certain thing, and he's invested into them a certain type of way, and for an example, you might have some brothers that might be very proficient in precepts, or breaking down scriptures, real deep scriptures. You might have some brothers that are good with history. Might have some brothers like over in Dallas camp that breaks down with the algorithms. Not every brother can be like that, brother. If we was all like that, you would, like we're gonna get into Lord willing, one of these scriptures is gonna say, the body basically isn't one member. If everybody was like the brother in Dallas, you wouldn't have a body. You would just have one member. So whatever your gift is or your calling is, Most High called us all for something different. To do something different. There's gonna be some brothers out there that's like I said, you might not be as so proficient in let's say quoting scripts or deep in the precepts, but you might be a good artist. I believe that there's a brother out in the San Francisco camp, that he's an excellent speaker and everything like that. But I believe that he's good in art, and he makes a lot of the signs or some artistic pictures and drawings and stuff like that. That might be his lot to help illustrate and visualize what's going on out there. And a brother might be real good in computer programs or videos or something like that, which could help the brotherhood or the fold, that could help out doing something else. Another brother could be into like looking into certain things on in the videos and bringing that out for edification in the news. For instance, if you brothers know who like Dabu 7 is, that would be a great example. If there was a brother in the camp, that could just be his expertise. He goes into stuff like that and brings just that out, and then you might have another brother that goes into filtering that through the scriptures, and these two brothers go hand in hand. You might be a brother that just coming in, you might not know what your lot is or whatever like that, but you have to think about this through the scripture. Again, filter through the scripture, not think of yourself as lowly. Oh, only I can do just this. Whatever your job is, you take that, and you be thankful for what your job is. Your job might be, you might not be again, you might not be so proficient in precepts and pulling and quoting precepts, but you might be good at translating. So one brother could be pulling the precepts, another brother could be deep with breaking them down, and then you could be just in your mind just the translated guy, the guy that just translates. But lo and behold, Issachar could be walking by, or another tribe of the language you speak, but the other two brothers that you think of, oh, I'm not on their level, they can't communicate with the other people. And the Most High bless you with with the gift of speaking in tongues, that you may speak to the other brother and bring them in. So whatever your lot is, like the Rock says, know your role, know your role, and do it to the best, And I'm gonna pull out some precepts that Lord willing is edifying, So first script I'm gonna get is in Romans 12. Start at verse 4. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office. Okay. So we being many and are one body and Yahushua Hamashiach, and everyone and everyone members one of another. Okay. Let me read one more and then I'll break that down. It says, having then gifts different according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the portion of faith, or ministry, let us wait on our ministering, or he that teacheth on teaching, or he that exhorteth on exhorting or exhortation, and he that giveth, let him do it with simplicity, and he that ruleth with diligence, and he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness. Okay. So just like I was breaking down right here, the Lord, is, you have one body but different members, and each member has a different job, your teeth might be for chewing food, your hands might be for getting the food to your mouth, the insides of your body might be for digesting the food, So same here, you might have a brother that you might be in a camp where, you come around some brothers and you might, again, I keep bringing this up because, there's going to be a lot of new brothers coming in, and they might be looking at the brothers that's already in the campus. These brothers are on such high levels. I'm nowhere, in their league or anything like that, but you just don't know which role you're supposed to play yet. You have to find your role and play your role, to the best of your ability, So I'm going to keep using this analogy. You might be a new brother coming into a camp and, you see these other brothers that are, are very proficient in the scripts and things like that, and you may have a expertise in, or I don't know, just as an example, you might have something, I forgot what the example I was going to use, but you may have something that links up with these brothers, all right, prime example, these brothers may not have the internet to upload their videos, they may not have a camera, to shoot their videos, but they're out on the highways and the byways preaching, and they can only reach the people that are walking past their camp, and you come by, and you might have the internet, fast internet, might be computer savvy, a website, a broad audience, or something like that on YouTube or something like that, and that might be your expertise. You might not know the scriptures that much, but you might know computers. You might, have all of this stuff set up, and y'all just go hand in hand. You like, y'all get into the thing to break bread. Y'all are both feeding the elect, You're both pushing the word together, and like I said, Lord willing, we're gonna get some more precepts that just break that down alone, But like the scripture says, there's some that's gonna be for prophesying. Let them, go into the prophecy. Some that are ministers, let them go out and minister, and the ones that break stuff down, stuff like that. You're gonna have different roles. Not everybody's gonna have the same role in this, so don't let that be a stumbling block onto you, because you might not, you might come into the camp and you might try to weigh yourself up against the other brothers around you or other people like you, or other people in this fold, and you might try to get that spirit on you of doubt. Oh, I'm not like this, I'm not like that, I can't quote these scriptures like this, I can't do these or those things. The Lord's going to give you the increase. You just have to have that faith, and find whatever the Lord may give you as your gift. Next scripture I'm gonna get is in real quick. It's 1 Corinthians 10 and this is 1 Corinthians 10 and 17. For we being many are one bread and one body, for we are all partakers of that one bread. Okay, and just like that's basically saying the same thing as the other scripture is saying, but it's using an analogy of bread. You get a loaf of bread, you go to the grocery store, you get a loaf of bread, there's many different slices in that loaf of bread, but you still call it a loaf of bread. Each individual slice is it's a slice, a piece of that loaf of bread. Those slices make up that whole. So again, you might just be this slice or that slice. The end, the end pieces have a significance, and the middle pieces have a different significance, but they're all one loaf of bread. This is 1 Corinthians. Hang on a second. Might just read this all the way through. All right, well, we'll start, and we'll just read down. This is 1 Corinthians 12, and start at 12. This is 1 Corinthians 12 and 12. It says, "For the body is one, and hath many members, and all members of that one body, being many, are one body. So also Hamashiach, Yahushua Hamashiach." So, there's one body, it has many members, just like, your physical body, your body's made up of arms, legs, your ears, mouth, face, things like that. For by one Spirit, we are all baptized into one body, okay? By one Spirit, this truth and sincerity, one doctrine, we all push one. Where the scriptures say, can two walk along unless they be agreed, we are agreed on this scripture and this truth that, first and foremost, that the elders and the apostles of the great millstone brought out, through the Spirit of Yahushua Hamashiach, the Lord gave to us, So, we preaching, all the same doctrine. It's not like, we're going out saying, some of us are saying the mark of the beast is an embargo, and the other half is saying the mark of the beast is the microchip, We're all on one accord. The whole, the microchip is the mark of the beast, It says, "For by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body, whether we be Jews or Gentile, whether we be bond or free, and have been all made to drink of one Spirit. For the body is not one member, but many." Okay, so the body is not one member. Like I was giving an analogy of the brother in Dallas. He breaks down the algorithms. So if you're a new brother coming in and you looking at him, and saying, "Oh, I'm not on his level," and things like that, then that's going against the scriptures, because scriptures clearly say that for the body is not one member but many. You might have a different role than what he has. He's he might be an arm where you might be a foot. Or he might be a left hand while you might be a right hand. You can't have two left hands on the body. It says, if the foot shall say, hold on, verse 15, "If the foot shall say, because I am not the hand, and I am not the body, if the foot shall say, because I am not the hand, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body?" Again, like I said, I just gave you the analogy of you could be the left and he could be the right hand, but in the scripture here is saying, like, if the foot's saying, because I'm not a hand, am I not part of the body, So, the foot would be wicked to say, "Oh, because I'm not a hand, I'm not a part, because I'm not like him, I'm not doing the work, or I'm not doing this or doing that." You're still doing the work. You have one body. You got to come in under the same, spirit and truth and sincerity. But nevertheless, you're part of that same body. "And if the ear shall say, because I am not an eye, am I not of the body? Is it therefore not of the body? If the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where were the smelling?" Okay. "But now hath Yahweh set the members, every one of them, in the body, and it has pleased him." Okay. If they were all one member, where is the body? But now are there many members, but yet one body. Okay. And it says, verse 21, "And the eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of thee, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. Nay, much more these members of the body, which seem to be more feeble, are necessary." Okay. So again, that last verse, okay, one more time, it says, "Nay, much more those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary." Okay. "And those members of the body which we think to be less honorable, upon these we bestow more abundant honor, and our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness." Okay. But like I gave the analogy earlier, you might be a brother coming to a camp, and you might be amongst some great speakers and stuff like that, and you might know how to translate, and they're pushing they're pushing hard in the spirit, bringing out precepts, but a tribe walk by that don't speak the English language, and you might speak their language, and you can be able to translate to them. So all that they're saying, it is like they say about the so-called speaking in tongues, not necessarily, like how the Christians believe it. If they praying and they speaking in some language that you can't understand, what does it profit you? So what in righteousness, if these brothers are speaking a language upon Jacob, and trying to wake Jacob up, but they can't understand them, what is it going to profit them? But therefore, when you come in, you might just think of yourself as the only thing I know how to do. I mean, I understand this, I believe in this, I have faith, but the only thing I know how to do right now is translate. Whoop-de-doo. How can I be the man of the Lord if all I can do is translate? But see, you just now getting it to be able to seal some of the elect, wake up some of the elect, because you can translate that which the brothers are bringing out. um, let's see. This is Hebrews 6:10. For Yahweh is not unrighteous to forget your works and your labors of love. Okay, when you do this, when we open up these videos, say, for me personally, I say, I want to give much love to the brothers that's pushing this truth and sincerity, and sincerity. Why are they doing it? Not because it's like a so-called job, because they they might be afraid of their camp leader getting scorned by them. Like you should be wanting to do this out of the love, for one, out of the fear of the Most High, but also out of the love of your brother, and waking them up. You don't want to see them in this state, So kind of lost my train of thought right there, but let me just get back to the scripture. It says Hebrews 6:10. It says oh yeah, the labor of love. Yeah, you're doing this out of the love, to loving your people, and want to see them in a better state, For Yahweh is not unrighteous to forget your works and the labor of love, which you have showed towards his name. Okay? Going out to the highways and the byways, pushing his truth and sincerity, standing boldful against the faces of who afflict you, roughly paraphrasing, You going out there on the highways and the byways, and you putting this, you showing the your love towards the Lord, and also towards your brethren, in all the trials of adversaries out on the highways and the byways, and the different things that come up. You're not doing your work in vain. The Most High sees that, and that's a real love, that you're putting your life on the line, that you willing to basically die for your brothers. You out there in the highways and the byways, and at camp, sometimes you get threats at camp. People come by saying all kind of different things. And if you've been watching for a while, there's been all kind of threats and things like that. People talking about they're gonna kill the men of the Lord, but that's the love that we have for our brother, and we still out there, pushing his truth. Okay. This is verse 10 again. Hebrews 6:10. It says, for Yahweh is not unrighteous to forget your works and labor of love, which you have showed towards his name. Okay, and which is also important, towards his name. Okay, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Okay, Yahweh being the name of the Father, Yahweh Shah being the name of the Son. Okay, and that ye have ministered. Okay, this is the important part right here, that ye have ministered to the saints. And who are the saints? The saints are the children of Israel. Okay, and do minister, and you still going out there pushing the work. You going out there waking your brethren up. You ministering to the saints. The Most High is not gonna forget your. He's not gonna forget your labor and your love. So again, if you putting out this truth and sincerity, again, like I said, it might not be your lot to be very proficient in the scriptures or something. You could be like, if you brothers know who I'm talking about, like a Dabu 7, who breaks down like a lot of the news events and things like that. You might be a brother that does that, or if, like the brother in Dallas, that brother's well rounded all the way around. But if all he could do was the algorithm, that would be a blessing in his own as well. So you're still ministering to the saints, whether you, or if you just, like I used in the other example, just a translator, you still ministering to the saints. Okay. Okay, this is 2 Corinthians 5 verse 9. It says, wherefore we labor, that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. Okay? So, yeah, wherefore we labor that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. Quick little precept there, but still, nevertheless, is real heavy because of the fact of whether you there or you not there, you're still gonna put in that work, and it going back to putting in that work for the love of your brothers. First of all, the fear of the Most High, and he called you to do this job, but you're doing this for the love of your brothers and the elect. But whether you absent or you present, you might have a situation where you might not always be able to be present, but you still find a way to do the labor of the work. Like real life example for me in my camp, I'm on a completely different time schedule than the rest of the brothers in my camp, and so like right now when I'm doing this video right now, I'm more than sure that all the brothers are pretty much asleep right now. It's like, again, most of my videos are shot at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, around the time I get off of work sometimes, but at the same time this word is still getting put out in truth and sincerity. And so when they wake up, they might go to the video stream, and before, they might have watched whatever videos popped up last night. Now they got a fresh video to watch in the daytime. So, whether absent or present, and today, is a day we normally go out to go to camp and stuff like that, but Esau had us come in on, a day that we were supposed to have off. I was absent from camp, but still in the spirit. This lesson actually came to me while I was at work, around the same time that the brothers would be at camp, So although I was absent from camp there, I was still present in the spirit because, like I said, this lesson came to me while I was at work around the same time that, I would be at camp today. Okay. Next scripture is going to be this is 1 Corinthians 15 verse 58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for so much as we know that your labor, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Okay, your labor and your work is not in vain. The Most High sees your work. And again, no matter how big or how small you might think your role is, the Most High sees that. I was talking to one of the brothers the other day at camp, and he was saying to me, after a while, I'm gonna start putting your videos onto the main camp's channel and stuff like that, and I'm like, the only views I really need is the Most High's views, the Most High's views and His Son's views, because those that matter, you know what I'm saying? But also the elect, we doing this to bring in the elect, but and the Lord said, "My sheep will hear my voice." But the Lord, ultimately overall is the one that's seeing your work. You might not seem like, in the eyes of other people, you doing this or you doing that or you doing this. You can have a brother that's in a camp that you might not ever see on screen. Again, he might have a work situation where, he might be like in my situation on a different time zone, or, his schedule is completely different than the other brothers. But at nighttime, this brother is the one that's might be putting together lessons or putting videos up online or uploading the videos or doing a lot of the different things so that the other brothers don't have to do those things, and the brothers just, things are just working, constantly 24 hours, like at my job, they're basically in production for 24 hours. When the first shift leaves, they go home and they rest up. The second shift comes in and take over, and the third shift comes in and take over. And so that company is constantly running. It just never stops and sleeps, So, we got, you just, again, like I said, whether you be absent or you present, you still do the work, and the Most High, your work isn't in vain. The Most High sees that, This is the last precept I'm gonna get is 1 Corinthians. Actually, I might have one more after that. Just thought about that. Hang on 1 second. This is a precept going into something different, but also this is hitting right on it as well. Try to see where I want to start. Okay, well, I'll just get straight to the point. I'm gonna read this and I'm gonna read back. Well, just for time's sake, because we're running a little bit out of time. This is 1 Corinthians 3 and 8. Now he that planteth and he that watereth are one. Every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor. Okay? So what this is getting into, and you can further read into this, is in 1 Corinthians chapter 3. But what they're going into is like saying, I'm not of, I'm of this person, or I'm of that person, but, you have different people who do different jobs, Man, I couldn't even tell, well, actually, I could tell you that the very first people that I saw, preaching his word and his truth was actually Elder Tahar and them. They were the very first people I seen, I don't know how came across it, on my YouTube feed or however it just popped up, came across them first, but, that wasn't necessarily the, the first, or not the first, but that wasn't the Elder Tahar and them wasn't the ones that I started following at first, I went through some other people and got some foundational things because, Elder Tahar was bringing out some meat, and as a baby, I was choking on the so-called cursing they was doing at first, and I had to go get some milk, but nevertheless, we ended up, I ended up where I needed to be at. But you might have a brother that goes and you planting this and planting that, like at the camp that I'm at now, I actually learned a lot more from a lot of the other camps than the actual camp that I'm with now. But those camps planted seeds, and this camp that I'm with now is watering, but it's the Most High that gave the increase, like the scripture says. Actually, I'm gonna try to grab one more scripture real quick. Close this here out. This is gonna be grab this one real quick. Alright, let me see where I want to start at. Alright, actually I'm going to just paraphrase this real quick, but it's in Matthew chapter 20, okay? Just read Matthew chapter 20 starting from the top. But anyway, it's the parable of the vineyard, basically, and the penny. So, I'll kind of jump around. This is like, for the kingdom of heaven is likened to a man that is a householder, which went out early in the morning and hired laborers into the vineyard. So basically, the parable that they're giving is, there's a guy who went out to hire some folks, right? And let's say at 8 o'clock in the morning, he hires some folks. Hey, you guys, I got a full work for you guys to do. I'll pay you X amount of dollars. He says he's gonna pay him a penny, right? We're gonna just keep it with the story. He says, hey, you come work for me for these 8 hours. I'll pay you a penny. 8 hours a day, or a penny a day. He gets the first group of people, 2 people. Boom, they go and work. They start working. So 12 o'clock noon, he finds 2 more people. Hey, you guys, you come work for me. I'll give you a penny. Boom. 2 o'clock go by, find some more people. 4 o'clock go by, find some more people. Now it's 4:30, 4:45, find some more people. They get off work at 5 o'clock. Pick these people up, boom. 5 o'clock roll around, job's done, end of the day. Time to pay him. You're going to pay him lawfully too, because by the law, you're supposed to pay a man that day before the sun go down at the end of his work. So he's going to pay him at the same day. Now they all in the line to get paid. Now, the guys that came last, they in line with the guys that came first. Guys that came first, they get paid their penny for their whole day of work. They pay all the people, they get all the way down to the end. The last guy that just came, 15 minutes before closing time, he get his paycheck, it's the same penny. The guy proceeded like, hey, I've been here all day from the jump to the end. How come I got the same wage he got, But, going into the contract, look, we signed up for a penny for a day of work, you do this job, I'll pay you a penny, everybody's getting the same reward, So bringing that back into the scriptures, topic at hand, like I said, if the Most High says that your work isn't going in vain, He sees your work, He knows what you're doing, and truth and sincerity. So if your job is to be whatever your job is, whatever your lot is, you can't look at another brother and think that brother is so-called getting more than you, or not to say that, but you might beat yourself up over it. I'm not this brother, I'm not that brother. So, you have to, basically play know your role and play your part. You could be a pinky toe, you could be the head, you could be an eye, you could be an ear. But whatever you do, you got to do that to your best ability. So at the end of the day, the whole body gonna get the same payment. So keep that in mind when you brothers, you new brothers are coming into this truth. Don't let yourself get beat up or down on there because you know you might have a expertise in the world sense, coming in from the world that that you could apply to this truth, but you might think that might just be, or this might not be a gift or whatever or something like that. For an example, you might be highly proficient in the computer game or something like that, and especially now at a time where all of our videos are going live and stuff like that. You could be a good help for the camp, letting us know about certain technologies and things like that and stuff like that. Actually, I gotta hear this video. My phone's about to die. But you just have to take heed to that, and play your role and play your role well. Lord willing, this video was edifying. I want to say all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone and rule well. And much love to you, brothers, just pushing the truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. I want to also say Kram Yasha Allah, Shalom.